RPM and thrust. Alright, now stop that, and if you mouse over you can see the values at that point. So if I put my mouse in the middle here, we see that I was getting 324 grams or so of thrust and, what does it say there? About 8,000 RPM. So now when I'm doing I'll change this to a T, so it's going to be constant thrust, and if I leave it like this, it's going to try and do 1,100 grams of thrust, which is impossible because we just saw full throttle, we're only getting 320. So be very careful not to do this, because this, I don't know what will happen, I've never actually tried it and I don't really want to find out, but probably the PID controller will go a bit funny and it will just set it at full throttle all the time. If you're kind of expecting that, maybe it's not a problem, but if you're expecting it to be a little bit more tame and all of a sudden you get huge bursts of full throttle, it might freak you out a little bit. So let's see if we can do a RC model review style 150 grams constant thrust test. And because we're using a PID controller to adjust the throttle based on the thrust reading that we're getting, we need a little bit of time to take that feedback and adjust it properly. So for these constant throttle and constant RPM tests, you're probably going to have to give it at least 4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds is good. So we try this and run this test. 150 grams. And again, stop, and we can see at the midpoint of that test there, oh, that's good, isn't it? 149 or 150 grams. Quite nice, but notice it doesn't do that for the first couple of seconds. You need a bit of time to settle into it, and then after that it's quite good. And also we've got 2 amps, 11 volts, blah blah blah. Okay, and over here you can see from that 5-second period we've got 198 good samples. That's not too bad. Average thrust was 149.4 grams, and then you can see, voltage, current, power, efficiency, all that stuff. So yeah, so that is a constant thrust test, and we can see there that was about 6,000 RPM. So just as an example, to do an RPM test, 5 seconds again, just make it 5,000 RPM, a little bit slower. And because the RPM reading is kind of rougher, it's probably not going to match it as well as we would like, but we'll see what happens. So you might have been able to tell that the sound of the motor was just sort of a little bit up and down. But what do we get there? 4,688, 5,200. But on average for that 5-second test, we got 145 good samples, and average was 5,016 RPM, which is not too bad. And it's 104 grams of thrust. So that is how you define and run the tests. And we've done calibrating sensors. This update list button just updates the context of this list. So if you start the program up and then you plug in your Arduino afterwards, you can click on this to get it to just refresh the list. Otherwise it doesn't show up your Arduino on this pull down. Okay, so about selecting parts. If you click on this dialog, you'll be shown a list of, or some tabs, where you can select the parts that you're using for this test. There's not many in there at the moment, so there's just some that I have manually entered. So you can select a motor and ESC as well, like that. The stuff at the bottom, I was intending to use this as a filter. So for example, for props, if you did HQ or something like that, or maybe something like that, it would automatically filter this list above so that we wouldn't see any gem fans, we'd just see this diatone one only. But that's not implemented, so none of the stuff at the bottom of these dialogues works. It's only this combo box at the top that actually functions. So when you first get the program, you will find these to be empty, but to fill them, you go to the last tab on the right, and it still says dialog here. It's not very good, is it? I have to change that. And then you can click on this button to pull the info from the server, and then it will update those combo boxes to show you the contents. So how you get data into those combo boxes and why you would want to bother selecting it is the next question. So let's have a look at this. So I've got a couple of pages here. There's the reports and the parts. So this is the part that I was saying I probably won't work on much in the future, but I'll show it to you anyway, since it's here and maybe somebody will be interested to look at it. So we have categories of parts here, and you can click on here and you can add a new one. And I just realized that the prop that I'm using here I haven't actually added, so I'll add that while I'm doing this. And you can add a maker. What is a maker here that there's something I haven't put in here. I just thought of this one now. I don't think this is really a thrust test stand kind of a brand, but I'll just add it anyway. So you can add that into the list there, and that one will show up when we do a pull to get the data. So we have MCU types, and these are made from a maker and a name. Firmware type is basically that's all there is at the moment, I think. This is for the ESCs, and this is just a firmware type and a version. Material is mainly for props. motors are a maker, a name, a diameter, height, and a kV. ESCs are maker, name, and then the type of MCU they're using. Oh, I thought I had a CDB in there. No, I don't. And current rating. So you can add all stuff here. If it detects that there's a duplicate, it won't let you add that one. And propeller is maker, diameter in inch, pitch in inches, number of blades, and material. So pretty sure that one I have there, I have not added it yet, but it's a gem fan, 50, 45, 2 blades, plastic. Yeah, so, okay, yeah, I didn't have that one. What? Oh, there we go. Of course, it's the last one on the list. Yeah. Okay, so now I've added that, and I added Immersion RC as a maker. So let's go back to here, and we don't get to directly see makers in this list, so we won't see Immersion RC coming up in here. But we should see that 5045 2 blades that I just added should show up in here, and it's not there at the moment. Yeah, okay, so it's this one here. Yep. Right, so that is how you set your parts for the test. So that's going to show up in here. So 3 lines. And then these results that I've been running, if you click export results, you'll be able to see the results of my last test, which was, what was that? Constant RPM, I think it was. But if you run, well, I only had one in that test, but if you put multiple tests in the same run, you'll see them all here. And you can save that to a file, just on disk, and you can do pretty much nothing with that file at the moment. I just thought it might be a useful thing to be able to save to look at later. So you can't load it into a program and do anything with it, it's just some JSON text. But this upload button here, if I click on here, we should see, so I just go back to my web browser, and so this is the set of results that I have been adding just some test results here. And now that I've added my prop, I think I'll just run that test again. Let's do it this way. Let's do a constant thrust or constant speed test for 3 seconds at 1500, so it's going to be mid-throttle. And then we'll do constant thrust of 50 grams for 5 seconds. So I'm going to have 2 results in my test. So I'll run that. You can see it running. Oh, we can see the current too because it's all connected still. Go like this. Start test, and this dialog just lets you remind you if you've been doing multiple strings that's what the test is going to be recorded as. That actually got up to speed pretty quickly, didn't it? Okay, so now if I click on export results, we'll see 2. It doesn't say that it was a constant thrust or a constant throttle here, does it? I don't know if that's really important though, because all the other stuff that it's recorded is what's important. Right, so okay, so we've got 4 results on here now, and if I come in here and do upload has been received, thank you, and then if I click refresh, we should see now we have 2 more results, and they are using my new prop that I added. So this is 5045 2-blade plastic, number of samples, throttle in each case, and thrust and all that kind of stuff. So this could fairly easily be made into a graph, but you need something to compare against. And this is where what I was saying before about Ryan's site, it's really good because you can get a set of a whole bunch of different motors that have been tested against each other on the same equipment with the same standards and everything. So this might be just sort of interesting to look at just in passing maybe, but I think what Ryan has going is a lot better as a source of a genuine comparison. Anyway, this is here if you want to check it out. I think that's about all I have to cover here, isn't it? What else have I missed? I missed anything? Oh, so that's those 2 pages there. You can find those from the GitHub main page. The sketch for the Arduino is on here. So there's just a few files there. Oh, yeah, one thing I will mention. This whole business with the analog to digital converter, it does look a bit complicated, and you might be more inclined to just use this normal analog in of your Arduino to read the voltage. So you do the voltage divider and you just use analog read. I think I mentioned something about this here. Here we go. So you can also use analog pins of the Arduino directly to measure voltage. And it works, but the resolution is not very good. So I went into a bit of detail there. But, so if you don't want to use one of these analog to digital converters, you don't really need to. But it gives you a lot nicer results. And they're not, I don't think they cost that much. What was it? $4. Yeah. So they're not really super expensive or anything. but if you can't be bothered, you don't need to be bothered. And I put links to some general info about this kind of thing for each of the components that I thought was worth looking at. I found some good pages that you can probably get a lot more info than what I've got on my documentation there. This is all details there. Quite nice. Yes, I think that's about it. Yeah. So I don't really have any plans to do a whole lot more work on this in the future. I certainly won't be doing anything on this. There are a few things that I've thought of for the app itself, for this app, that would be nice to have. So I might do a little bit more work on this in the future, I think. Plus, I'm sure people will have suggestions about what else might be nice to have on it. So if you have any suggestions, put a comment on this video, and I'll have a look. Anyway, thanks for watching.